Hello everyone, my name is Olivia and welcome to a new reading vlog where I'm going to read a book that a bookseller recommended to me. So 2 summers ago on my birthday, I went to Scattered Books in New York State and I was able to strike a conversation with the bookseller there, and my parents brought up my booktube channel and my Instagram, and the bookseller was super kind and really enthusiastic about my book reviewing, and she wanted to recommend a book for me to buy on my birthday. So she recommended Normal People by Sally Rooney because I told her I have not read any Sally Rooney book before, and she told me this is the perfect place to start. And another bookseller who was also working there at the time also recommended it to me, and they told me that this is one of their favorite books of all time and I should really give it a shot because so many people love it, and I know so many people who love Normal People, both the book and the show, and I decided to give it a try because I wanted to finally get into the Sally Rooney game. I wanted to find out why everyone loves her writing, so I am starting with Normal People, and I'm only about 25 pages into the book so far, but I'm really enjoying it. What initially made me not want to pick up a Sally Rooney book is the fact that she doesn't use quotation marks in her writing, and I'm still trying to figure out why she does that and why she made that artistic choice for all her stories, but I'm really enjoying the story so far. So we follow Connell and Marianne, who grew up in a small town together, but they're very different. Marianne comes from a very wealthy family that Connell's mother works at as a maid, and Connell is a very popular boy in the high school, and they don't have a lot in common. They don't interact when they're in school together, but Connell one day picks up his mother from Marianne's house and they strike up a conversation and they realize that they have a lot more in common, and they decide to start secretly hooking up without anyone's knowledge. I'm only that far into the book and I know that people call this book devastating. People really love the show, which I do plan on watching after I finish this book, but it won't be included in this vlog because I don't know how long it'll take me to finish that show. But this entire reading vlog is going to be me reading the book that a bookseller recommended to me, which has never happened before because I've never really struck up that long of a conversation with a bookseller before. And the bookstore was so cute and so well curated, and they even have bunnies in the back of the bookstore. So if you're ever in New York State and you're looking for a bookstore to visit, be sure to check out Scattered Books because the people who work there are so kind and so helpful, and they also have bunnies. What other bookstore have you been to that has bunnies in the back of the bookstore? Not many. So highly recommend that bookstore. I'm so glad I found Normal People there. And let's get into this vlog. I want to find out what's going to happen because I actually haven't been spoiled for this book, so I'm really eager to see what's going to unfold. I'm 60 pages into Normal People, and Sally Rooney, I was not familiar with your game, but wow. Does she know how to perfectly capture the horrors of being a teenager with a crush? I'm already loving this book. I love the way that it's structured. I love how we follow both Marianne and Connell as they are going through this very unique relationship where they are hooking up with one another after school, but when they are in school, they've lived very different lives. And I've been underlining so many different passages. Like one line says, "She would have lain on the ground and let him walk over her body if he wanted. He knew that." Connell has this power in this relationship where he has the ability to make this official or not, and it's so clearly not an official relationship because it's held behind closed doors. He doesn't show her affection in public. He doesn't even stand up for her in public when people are making fun of her, when people treat her badly, and that captures a crush as a teenager because so often it is a one-sided or heavily uneven relationship where you really have strong feelings for this one person, but they're so deeply indifferent to them. And I guess this is going to be a spoiler, but I do want to get into a larger discussion about this book. But I just finished the part where Connell told his mother that he's not taking Marianne to the Deb, which is, I guess, their version of prom in Ireland. And instead, he's taking his friend Rachel, who is very mean and openly dislikes Marianne, and she always makes fun of Marianne, and Connell never stands up for her in public. And that is so relatable, and it's so painful to witness. And his mother was so angry that he didn't invite Marianne to the Deb because he clearly has a relationship with her, and he doesn't treat it like a relationship. He treats it like something that's frivolous and something that he doesn't have to actually care for and maintain. And I'm really excited for us to time jump to see Connell as an adult, because I do think he has to learn these lessons about how to care for someone in a relationship and how to care for someone in general, because he feels very selfish and he doesn't appreciate those around him, including his mom. And I'm excited to see that character development, and I'm also just excited to see what Marianne's going to get up to, because to be honest, she deserves so much better than Connell. But I'm already obsessed with this. This book is actually pretty short. It's only 270 pages or something. So I do think I can get through it pretty quickly, but I just wanted to give this update before I read on, because I was so angry when he didn't stand up for her in public. Throughout so many different situations, he just sits on the sidelines and lets things happen to her when he has the ability to stop the mistreatment towards Marianne. Like, nobody deserves to be made fun of. Nobody deserves to be treated that way, and he doesn't stand up for her, and it's so infuriating. This weekend has been so nice because all I've done is read and relax, and that's exactly the type of weekend that I needed. It's also the first time that it snowed so far this winter, and while it did not stick, it was just really nice to experience seeing snowfall for the first time this year. So during all of Saturday, I read Normal People, and I'm loving this book so much, you guys. I am obsessed with Connell and Marianne and their will they won't they relationship. I'm just eating this book up. It's so incredibly readable, and don't let the lack of quotations intimidate you if you've been thinking of picking up Normal People. It took me a couple pages to get used to it, but once I was in it, and I am just really enjoying this novel and the time jumps that happen every single chapter, and I'm always dreading finding out how much time has passed since their last interaction, because sometimes it's weeks since they've spoken and sometimes it's months since they've spoken. And I am now on page 190, and they're back and forth, and the fact that they refuse to admit their feelings for one another is so infuriating, but also so incredibly relatable, because I genuinely don't think that they belong together. I think that they belong on their own with their own types of people because they don't necessarily match each other, but they understand each other and they feel they're most authentic around each other, which is something that you still cling on to and something that you seek out, which is why they constantly come back into contact with each other. And currently, Marianne has the most annoying boyfriend ever. He's so incredibly rude, he's so mean to her, and through Connell's point of view, you can tell that he really doesn't like him. And I'm just waiting for the moment that she says she finally broke up with him because my god, he's so annoying. And I just cannot wait to see how this will end because I don't think it's going to end on a good note. I think it's going to be very bittersweet and I just cannot foresee them being together by the end of it. I truly have never seen characters hate themselves more and think that they belong in these crappy situations than the two characters in Normal People. It's not even like they self-sabotage, it's just that they let stuff happen to them and they let their lives be terrible. When will they learn that they deserve so much more than every situation they've been put into? It stresses me out, genuinely. I took a break to look up how many episodes the show has because I was like, maybe I'll watch it in this vlog. And there's 12 episodes. I'm enjoying the book, but I don't think it needs 12 episodes. And I know they're 30 minutes long, but I feel like that's a bit much unless we're following every single chapter in this book. I don't know if I've read 12 chapters. Maybe I have. Maybe it's just very true to the story, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it in this vlog because starting a new show for me is very nerve-wracking. Like, I really have to be in the right mindset to do it. Otherwise, I'm like not enjoying it. That's why I don't really start a lot of new shows, but 12 episodes. I thought the most it was gonna be 6. I'm always filming in the same spot in this video because it gets dark so quickly that there's no other place in my house that's this well lit because my lights are in my room. So I always film my updates here, so it feels a bit monotonous, but I hope you don't mind. I am over 200 pages into Normal People, and again, it's stressing me out. Connell and Marianne refuse to be in good situations, whether it's with the people they're dating, the people they're friends with, or their overall life situation. They just completely refuse to feel any sort of happiness, and they're always somewhat self-sabotaging because they never are in situations that are good for them, and it is completely stressing me out. So every time there's a time jump and I start a new chapter, I'm stressed out all over again because I know they're going to be in another situation with another set of people that aren't good for them. And I'm not necessarily saying that they're good for each other and they should be together, but I do think they have this some sort of camaraderie where they understand each other's life circumstances, and I do think that together they are able to find something better in life, but they keep on falling apart and falling back together. And it's just stressing me out. So it is now 5 p.m. and the sun has sadly set, and I want to get more into Normal People because I really want to finish it as soon as possible. I need to keep reading. I cannot stop reading. I am obsessed with watching this car wreck that is Marianne and Connell's lives because they are just so messy. So many things happened within the last couple of days since I vlogged. 1, I finished Normal People, and 2, I got laid off of my job. So let's talk about the latter first. I was laid off 2 days ago from my job very suddenly. Being laid off wasn't something that was particularly surprising to me. I feel like the signs were there and I was just waiting for the moment that I would be let go. And I was finally let go, which is most definitely a blow to my plans for this year. year, and it's most definitely going to be a journey to try and find a new position as either a social media manager or a marketing coordinator. So most definitely, if you are a brand watching this and we have worked before, I would love to work with you again on this channel or on my other social media platforms. Or if you work in marketing or if you work in social media and you think I would be a great fit if there is an opening, feel free to email me over in my email address, which is linked in the description. I somehow have been very calm throughout this whole entire situation, mostly because I saw it coming internally and I kind of ignored it, and then when it finally happened, I was like, yep, it finally happened. My premonitions did come true, as they always do. So you might see me more often on this channel than not, because I do want to lean into my social media, my presence on Instagram, my presence on YouTube in the meantime while I look for a new job. So if you have any video ideas you would like to see from me in the coming weeks and months, please let me know, because I at least want to work on my own brand before a company hires me. So yes, that is the news, but let's throw that aside and let's focus on normal people. What did I rate this? What did I rate Normal People? I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, guys. Normal People just really spoke to my soul, and I do deeply feel like this is a book that you either love it or completely hate it. You either jive with the writing style and the lack of quotations, or that grates against you. But I loved Normal People. From the moment I started this book to the moment I ended it, I was immersed and invested in Marianne and Connell's journey as they were teenagers and then went into their early 20s to their mid 20s. And that journey that they went on was so authentic and so raw and real, especially because these are two characters who aren't the best people in terms of their emotional maturity and also just the situations that they are in life. I think Marianne is such a tragic character where she doesn't know that she deserves so much more in life, both from her relationships and from herself. She is a character that is so used to being bogged down by others. She's so used to being mistreated, and you know what? She felt a bit relatable, because I have been in so many situations where I've been mistreated, and I was telling a friend that, yeah, I'm just used to people being mean, and she said, that's a really sad skill that you have, because you shouldn't be so good at dealing with mean people. You should be surrounded by kind people. And I was like, yeah, I never really thought about it that way. And that's what Marianne kind of felt to me. She's so used to being mistreated, she's so used to being in bad situations, that she kind of seeks it out throughout her life in Normal People. Meanwhile, Connell, he's afraid to start something new. He's afraid to be alone. And with both of those personalities, they form some type of codependent relationship that isn't necessarily the healthiest. And you see them on their journey and you see them fall into their patterns and get into these really sucky situations and relationships. And they deserve so much more, but they don't realize and they don't accept that they deserve more. And I think that exploration from Sally Rooney was my favorite part of the book, because I read a couple of Goodreads reviews that said this book felt repetitive, this book felt like it was doing the same thing over and over again. And I was telling a friend, I was like, is life not the most repetitive thing of all? Are we all not going through very similar situations over and over again sometimes? And it may tire you, but that's what life is all about. It's pretty much monotonous when you get into a situation. Like if you're in college, you go to class, you study, you go to parties, you hang out with friends, you go to class, you study. It's over and over again. That's what Sally Rooney wanted to capture in this book, and I think she did it very well. And I was actually surprised by the ending of this book, because I didn't expect it to end the way that it did, and it kind of gave me relief. It's like an open ending. You can kind of determine what you think from it. And I thought that the two characters at the end would eventually kind of grow and learn and become better and eventually fall back together, because I do think that Marianne and Connell have this very special relationship where no matter what they go through, they understand each other and they appreciate each other and they treat each other better than they would treat other partners. And I think that that special connection and that favoritism they have towards each other is very special, even though they aren't in the healthiest place. But overall, Normal People became my first favorite read of 2023, and yeah, I just really appreciated it. I underlined a lot, I annotated a bit, and I just really enjoyed the journey that I went on. And I think it's like a really great literary fiction if you're looking to get into literary fiction. It was just such an interesting read, such an interesting character study between both Marianne and Connell, because they are both very different but also extremely similar. And I just had a great time with it, and I immediately ordered Conversations with Friends, and I'm hoping for that to come in soon because I really want to read it, because that synopsis feels so much messier than what Normal People is. Don't get me wrong, this is an extremely messy book. Like, these characters are so messy in a delicious way, in a way that you just like want to eat up. I did not expect to love it as much as I did. This is a book I can definitely see myself rereading, annotating even more, having a conversation with myself in my margins. This was such a success, and I'm really happy with the overall outcome, because I have been reading some books in 2023, and this one just filled me with passion, because I really do think I am affected by the media that I consume, and if I consume media that I'm not enjoying, it really brings down my mood, because my personality is centered around books and movies and TV shows and podcasts and all things like that. So yeah, I finished Normal People. Let me know what you thought about Normal People in the comments. And don't worry, I plan on watching the show. Maybe I'll make like a little reel about it where I watched the show and I share my thoughts about it, but I didn't want to start Normal People, the show, right after reading Normal People, because this book kind of drained me, because these characters were so messy in life, in all areas of life. So I didn't want to read this book and then immediately hop into the show, because it just felt like I needed a break from Marianne and Connell. I needed some distance between them. And I'll eventually watch the show, and I'll definitely post about it on Instagram and TikTok if you want to follow me there. If you have stayed this far in the video, put a green heart emoji to match the cover of Normal People, and let me know what other vlogs and videos you would like to see from me in the future. As you know, I'm going to be a lot more present on here in the coming weeks and months, and I really want to take advantage of that and create some really great content. So expect a lot more vlogs from me, and thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. It ended in a way that I did not expect. I did not expect to lose my job, but I feel like something better is going to come along the way, and yeah, I'll see you around very soon. Bye!